thank you everyone for coming to help us honor Janice as she goes forward into her new adventure of retirement and new things to do, because we all know her and she is never going to stop having adventures. She is all... One of the first things I remember about knowing about her was that she went scuba diving, but she couldn't see when she took off her glasses, and you can't scuba dive without your glasses. So she had a special mask made. I'm like, I don't think I'd ever have courage to do that, but she did. So we are so happy. Thank you very much for coming today. I would like to introduce Carol Jankowski from the board, and she will make the first presentation.
As Linda said, I'm Carol Jankowski, and I am one of the trustees for the Morton Library Board. And if the other trustees would like to join me, I know Alan Hart is here, and Jackie Patton, and Jeff Keach. If you guys would like to come up and join me, please. I don't want to be up here by myself. And the trustees that we're not able to be here today is our president, Michelle Kuhl, and Dennis Ewald, who has been a longtime treasurer for the board, and then also Henry Vickery with Caterpillar. So on behalf of the trustees, Janice, we just really, there's really not a way to say thank you to someone that has served a library and a community for 36 years. I mean, really, what do you do for that? For me personally, Janice has been a great friend to me. We're Iowa girls, and so we connect in that way. And, you know, we were just talking, and she literally has watched my kids grow up at the Morton Library. And they're certainly not the only children she has watched grow and nurture and had a kind smile. So we have, on behalf of the trustees, we have a token for you, and we want to give that to you, and I think Jackie's going to let you open it, and then we'll kind of explain it, and I don't think anything's going to jump out.
Yeah,
so.
Interesting when the best explaining it. Yeah, right. This will be interesting. Yeah.
I can use all this in packing boxes. Yes, that's it. Okay. Very. Oh my.
Okay, we have a charm bracelet, and we are hoping, we know that we won't forget you, and so we hope that each of these charms on the bracelet kind of means something to us as we think of you. So Jackie's going to show them. There's a wise owl on the bracelet, and we all know that Janice is always advocating for literacy and for everyone, no matter whatever their age. There's a butterfly, and she has really watched the library, and she has led the library through so many seasons of growth and change. There's a garden charm, and of course her leadership and dream of Hannah's Reading Garden that we opened this summer, and I hope that many of you have an opportunity to enjoy that. And I was so glad, Janice, that you were able to see that for you as you are retiring. Study books, and you are always helping the students of our community. We have students of all ages in Morton. We just have such a very active library, and she's always helping people learn. Passport and adventure weights. We all know that she loves adventure of all kinds. So we know you love to travel, and we wish you adventure in Arizona. There's a tree of life. And if many of you don't know this, Janice has just finished a term on the Morton Community Foundation Board of Trustees, and there's a tree there, and so we hope that you remember your service to the Morton Community Foundation Board. Friendship flower. Janice is a friend to everyone that comes into the library. This is one of the friendliest places that you will be in Morton, and I know you will agree with that. There's a globe. And so wherever you are in the world, we know that you will make a difference and an impact because you've been very active in Morton. And then there's a pumpkin. Do we need to say anything about that? There's a teapot. And in retirement, we hope that you enjoy a cup of tea. And there's a forget-me-not, because we certainly won't forget you.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
So on behalf of the trustees, best wishes in your retirement. We know that you have lots of adventure ahead, and Dawn, she's all yours. Linda, is there someone next? Well, I'm going to pass that off. So, and really on behalf of the trustees, thank you for coming and honoring Janice in this way.
And if you haven't had a chance to get into the ruling room, there are goodies there. So I know some of you were sort of herded back this way, and that's great. And wow, I just saw somebody who came all the way from Kentucky. Oh my gosh. That's wonderful. Oh my goodness. That may make us both cry. That's right, I am too. It's wonderful to see everyone, and that was so appropriate. All those charms were perfect, just perfect. And I'm really glad to introduce the perfect person to do the next presentation. This is Valerie Wilford. She is, wow, what she hasn't done in Illinois libraries doesn't need to be done. She is amazing, just amazing. And she was the director at Illinois Valley Library System. Then when they merged 4 library systems together, she was chosen as the director, the executive director of the Alliance Library System. And if she hadn't been ready to just say, I need a rest, I think she probably would have taken over for Rails too. So Valerie Wilford, who knows Janice and her career very, very well.
36 years. That's a long time. And much of that time I've been fortunate enough to work closely with Janice. Oh, they can hear. I'm a speech major. I'm sorry about all the paper, but people keep handing me notes. To top what you just heard from the board, I wish to add another layer, and that is we just received word that Janice has been selected as a library luminary for the Illinois Library. You don't know what that means. I'll explain in a second. But she was just approved. Bob Doyle just sent a note saying that had occurred. But what I thought was interesting this morning is in 2008, I was on the ILA, the Illinois Library Association board, and we had 2 problems that we were addressing. One, the association was always broke. I mean, it was always having to raise dues, to meet this, to da-da-da. And the other thing is we had so many people in Illinois who had made major contributions, not just librarians, trustees, all kinds of individuals had made major contributions to libraries in Illinois, and somehow we've never captured them, we've never thanked them, we've never congratulated them, and so we established the Library Luminary program. And in order to be nominated, first of all, you have to be nominated, and along with the nomination needs to be all kinds of documentation, but also $1,000. And that $1,000 sometimes is collected for a whole lot of people contributing, but that goes into the endowment fund for the association and cannot be touched, basically. It was the board and the staff of the Morton Public Library who nominated Janice. And while you could have nominated her for a million things that she's done over the years, I think the one thing that I understood they were particularly excited about was the project she did called Power. And it took us all to figure out what in the world that meant. Somebody just handed me a slip. But, you know, following the tornado and the damage of the tornado, Janice, typical of her, saw a problem and then began to think of a solution. Offered Morton Public Library, I assume after discussing this with the board, to be a collection, organizational facility, and a way to disseminate documents, letters that were lost in the tornado. And you know, I don't know how far. I probably should have asked you that before we started. Chicago. I was going to say Kankakee. 35 miles. Those things. 35 miles.
155 miles
Oh, 155 miles away. The furthest thing was found. But those people, you know, their photographs, their letters meant so much to them. And that's typical of what I know about Janice Sherman. The wonderful thing about having her as a member of the library is that she was always focused on evaluating whatever we were doing in terms of a focus on would this benefit the patrons of the Morton Public Library. And so we would, at a staff meeting, introduce a grant idea that had come from the state. It would be Janice that would go home and vet that idea and play it against how would that play in Morton? Would this benefit? Would the amount of staff time that would have to be given to this project be worth the benefit? And then she'd come and share with the other member libraries that kind of questioning. But the focus was always on finding the best solution to deal with an information need. And so we're really grateful to Janice over the years. She's played an important role from being, I could go on and on. She was on the advisory council. She was one of the founders of our automation system, the Resource Sharing Alliance, and she was the one who over the years gave stability to that whole program. In addition to that, she was acting director of the Alliance Library System. She was she negotiated as the new rails was formed. She represented the Alliance Library System in those negotiations. And the list goes on and on and on. And so we could have written a nomination for any one of those things. And the staff, and I think Linda Yoder did a lot of the gathering, and you might imagine, of the information. But now what we have to do before she leaves town is we have to have a formal portrait. And we have to get a biography. Any of you who go to the Illinois Library Association database, click on Library Luminaries, and this morning I did it, and I thought it was very interesting that she will be the 36th person.
Oh,
and
neat.
36. So go to the database, click on Library Luminaries, and you'll see a picture and a biography of each of, they were trustees, they were librarians, some of them were world famous, Bob Wedgeworth, names that we would recognize as peons in the association, but also some very people who spent lots of hours and time promoting library service. And so I couldn't be more happy for Janice, but we need to get a photograph. So look and see, but she is number 36, and Bob's note says, Janice was inducted on February 12th into the Library Hall of Fame as an Illinois Library Luminary. Please let Janice know at the appropriate forum, and we can work on a bio and a photograph. So, congratulations.
We are so pleased to be able to say that she will be a library luminary.
She is.
That she is. That's about as high as you can go in Illinois libraries. She's a pillar. She's a pillar. And when she first came and they interviewed her, she said her goal was to give the best library service to the citizens of Morton. How many do you think she's done that?
Yep.
So I'm going to be finishing up so that you can all greet her personally, because she does want to talk to all of you. And those of you that have already greeted her can go and have some delicious goodies in the ruling room, and you can see the video which Katie and John have put together of lots of milestones. One of my favorites is they've got a crock pot and they're burning the mortgage for the first building, which is just, it's in the middle of the board table and they're all standing around going, yes, look at it burn. It's really good. But I want you to know, oh, Janice. Yeah, sure. Yeah. She left her note. She knows she's next. But I want to read something. When Janice came in 1979, she was very young and she had some building experience because she had overseen a building addition, I think it was, in Highland, Indiana. And that was one of the reasons that the board would like to have her, hired her to be here, because she had some experience with building. Well, this is the note that Ray Hauser, this is going to mean something to librarians here. Yeah. He was the director of Illinois Valley Library System, and he gave her the Brick by Brick Award in 1982 when we built the first part of the library over there, and this is what it says. From a small storefront library, quote, parentheses, next to the bank, across the street from the Dairy Queen, to a tree-covered lot, from a small back room where one froze in the winter. Apparently it had been here at lunchtime. We all ate in the back room where there was no heat. Or nearly roasted in the summer, to a lovely ruling meeting room. From a collection of water-soaked and damaged reference books, because there was a fire, they all got soaked, to public access terminals, the Morton Public Library has grown and expanded brick by brick. And then he says, with new furniture soon to arrive. For those of you that remember, we built the first part of that building and there was no furniture in it. The kids used to step inside the front door and go, yes! And they would just take off and their moms would be racing after them, trying to go, no, wait, stop, don't yell. It was just funny. So, we wish to commend their efforts in these poor economic times and present them with the Brick by Brick Award. She started with a small, across from the Dairy Queen, and she built 2 parts of a lovely library. But not only did she build the building, she built the character, she built the spirit. of this Morton Library. And for that, we can never thank her enough. So we'll let you have your remarks.
Thank you, Linda. And thanks, Valerie and Carol and the rest of the board members. And thank you to everyone who has come today. Thanks to all the people who told me they couldn't make it today, but they took the time to stop by and send a card, let me know that they were thinking of me and of all of us today. I've said many times that the accomplishments of the library are not attributable to just one person, that it's always a team effort, and that team has to start with the board members who hired me, who gave me their trust and their faith, and who worked together as a team with a goal in mind to build a library. The library staff is the most important resource that the library as an organization has. And the teamwork that we have together there is crucial to the success of the library, but also the community. We can provide wonderful facilities and services, but it's the community that takes advantage of those services, who comes to use them and spreads the word to their friends and neighbors about the excitement that's going on at the library. So it's a self-fulfilling cycle that the entire community, library staff, and board are all involved in. I have a quote from an author. Guess. This author's name is Richard Russo, and he says, "Your work should be something that satisfies, excites, and rewards you, something that gives your life meaning and direction, that stays fresh and new and challenging, a task you'll never quite master, that will never be completed. It should be the kind of work that constantly humbles you, that never allows you to become smug. In short, work that sustains you instead of just paying your bills. While you search for this work, you'll need a job." And I have been blessed for my job to have that work that sustains you. Thank you very much.